Hey witches, welcome to Busy, Gritty, Inked and Witchy, a magical living podcast for the busy witch. I'm Morgan, eclectic witch of almost 25 years, Avalon priestess, and busy witch. Here we'll talk all things witchy, from current metaphysical happenings to my busy witch tips and tricks, and everything in the in-between. This podcast is my personal journey, filled with my knowledge, opinions, and unique way of looking at the world. Join me as I weave the magical and the mundane in every episode. Hey witches, welcome back to Busy, Gritty, Inked and Witchy. I'm Morgan, and today I am talking about cord cuttings. It is the spooky season. It is becoming the darker part of the year. This is a time when a lot of witches choose to do cord cuttings to rid themselves of things that are no longer serving them, to cut toxic people or toxic situations out of their lives. And I realized I have never done a podcast episode on cord cuttings, which is crazy to me because number one, I love teaching about cord cuttings. Number two, I have a differing opinion from a lot of witches out there, especially witches who do cord cutting videos on social media. They tend to have this one idea about cord cuttings. I have a different idea about cord cuttings, like when you should be doing them. And it's something that I've definitely shared with the Ink Spirit Coven, but I do love teaching about it. Now, the reason that I am doing this right now is, yes, it is the spooky season. It's the season of the witch. We're getting into the darker part of the year. But I also like to cover subjects of things that I'm currently going through. And I recently have had to do a major cord cutting in my life. Not to go into too many details, but it was for a family member that the relationship just got entirely too toxic for me. And I've had to do one. So, do I regret it? Do I wish I wouldn't have done? No, not at all. And we'll definitely go into the energetics of cord cuttings and why you should do them and why you should probably do them frequently. Okay? All right. So where am I at? So I do have notes. I do have also some other fun things. If you are listening to this on October 2nd, which is the day that it airs. Okay. So that would be October 2nd, 2024. First of all, it's an eclipse. So happy new moon with solar eclipse, which if you have been absolutely crazy lately, or if weird shit has been happening, or if you feel like your life has been absolutely turned upside down, that's probably the eclipse. Okay, this eclipse has been a doozy, and it's been, the energy's been building for well over a week now. But because it's the new moon in Libra, which is all about balance and harmony, but it's paired with a solar eclipse. It's like the solar eclipse is going to shake shit up in order for you to have balance and harmony. So that's what's happened actually in my life. And in talking with a lot of other witchy friends, it's happening to them too. So that's the first thing. But if you are listening to this on October 2nd, then there is a freebie for you sitting on my website, inkedgoddesscreations.com. We are currently doing 31 days of Samhain, which is basically a virtual countdown advent calendar. So every day, it's so beautiful this year. My web designer, Angela, did an amazing job. It looks like a spooky haunted wall of pictures, and they're all numbered. And so every day a numbered picture flips around and reveals some kind of mystery, fun thing. Some days it's a freebie. Some days it's a limited edition product that we have. Some days it's a flash sale. So definitely check it out. When you get to inkedgoddesscreations.com, just scroll down a little bit on the front page and you'll see this big thing for 31 days of Samhain. The thing for today, the flash sale for today, is the cord cutting rituals PDF. And I would absolutely, without a doubt, love to tell you all that I planned it this way, but I did not. Shit happened in my life last week, and we've had, 31 days of Samhain, the days and everything like planned out forever. And the shit happened in my life last week. And I realized that that was the next thing I wanted to talk about on the podcast. And so I would love to say that I timed it correctly to do that. I did not, but it worked out anyway. So if you are listening to this on October 2nd, then head over to our website where you can download the cord cutting Book of Shadow pages for free. It's just on October 2nd. If you are accessing this podcast after October 2nd and you still want a cute Book of Shadows copy of the cord cutting rituals, it's only $2. So, it doesn't break the bank. So you can go to inkgoddesscreations.com and type in cord cutting and the PDF will show up. Anyway, all right, so let's move on. That was just the fun little thing that I wanted to let you all know that's going on like right now. That was kind of time sensitive. Okay. So I believe that cord cuttings are vital for creating and maintaining healthy boundaries, period. Okay. Cord cuttings to me are part of witchy self-care. All right. They are just as important as grounding your energy down. They are just as important as protecting your energy on a daily basis, especially if you're an empath. But protecting your energy and grounding down before a ritual or a spell, I feel like it's up there with all of that. Okay. And to understand cord cuttings, first you have to understand energetic cords. Okay. So keep in mind that this episode today, as well as my entire podcast, are not only my opinions, but it's knowledge that I've obtained over the last 25 years of being a witch, and it's what works for me, okay? So as I present my opinions and my thoughts on things today, if it resonates with you, that's awesome. Then try it, run with it, incorporate it into your own practice, that's great. If it does not resonate with you, or if you give it a try and it doesn't work, then that's great too. And I tell you why, because that teaches you what you don't like. It teaches you what doesn't work for you, which then still helps you by narrowing shit down. Okay. The internet and the knowledge database when it comes to witchcraft is so massive that sometimes you just need to weed out what doesn't work for you or what doesn't resonate with you. So that's just like a witchy life tip moving ahead in life, especially if you're a beginner witch, is if something resonates with you, roll with it. If it doesn't resonate with you, then at least you figured out what doesn't work and you can cross that off the list. Okay. So my beliefs on energetic cords. Okay. I believe that energetic cords are created between you and another person or a place or a situation when you have any type of interaction with it, okay? The thickness of the cord or the size of the cord matters when it comes to how much you nurture or foster that relationship. And when I say relationship, I mean any type of connection that you have with another person. It can be a romantic relationship. It can be a friendly relationship. It can be a work relationship just with coworkers or your boss, okay? I don't only mean relationship as romantic or sexual, okay? So relationships can also, or energetic cords can also happen if you're standing in line at the grocery store having a polite conversation with the old woman next to you, okay? An energetic cord is going to be formed between the two of you. Now, when you walk away, that energetic cord, because it wasn't built of anything of substance, it wasn't built of anything emotionally or, physically or anything like that, it was just a polite conversation, that energetic cord is more than likely just going to fall apart. As you move away from the old woman, you say, oh, thank you, have a nice day. You move on with your life, more than likely the energetic cord will just kind of dissolve, okay? So that's what I believe, which is why I take my energy so seriously and who I surround myself with on a regular basis. That is why I take that so seriously, because of my beliefs on energetic cords, okay? Now, I believe that as you're fostering relationships with people, the cord gets thicker, okay? And some witches will visualize a stronger cord, I find that it's way easier to visualize a thick cord, because if you have to do a cord cutting, it's easier to do a cord cutting on something thick than it is something that might be small but very strong. Okay, that's just me personally. So basically, like, the energetic cord between me and my husband is going to be thick as shit. It's going to be huge. It's going to be massive. The energetic cord between me and my children is going to be huge. The energetic cord between me and my parents or me and my sister is going to be huge. The energetic cord between myself and the women that work with me, it's going to be big. Okay, it's going to be thick. But probably the biggest energetic cord is going to be between you and your partner, or someone that you live with, someone that you interact with on a minute basis. You know what I mean? Those who are closest to you in your life are going to have the thickest energetic cords. Okay. So energetic cords are there, and they basically allow an energy flow directly from you to the other person. And let me tell you, energy flows both ways. This is, if this is how you want to envision energetic cords and cord cuttings from here on out, then fully understand, what I mean by when you have a cord connected to another person, the energy flows both ways. You are going to be flowing energy towards them. They're going to be receiving that energy, but they are also supposed to be flowing energy back to you where you are receiving it. And a healthy energetic cord has a healthy flow of positive energy between the two of you. Okay. So if that's how you want to picture it, that is beautiful. That's how I picture it. And hopefully I've described it well enough for you to visualize what I'm talking about. All right. So you want to definitely foster positive energetic cords with people. You want to foster and nurture energetic cords between you and your spouse, your partner, your children, your parents, if, your sister, your siblings, like whoever, your boss, your workmates, like whoever. You have to nurture the energetic cord, but so do they. Okay. All right. So those are energetic cords. All right. Energetic cords need to be cut. You should do a cord cutting. If the energetic cord is draining you, which means that the person on the other end of that energetic cord is taking more than they're giving, that is going to drain you of energy. They can probably, if they do it pretty often or on a regular basis, they're probably an energetic vampire, just literally sitting there sucking the life out of you and sucking your energy force to keep them alive. Breakups. Yeah, you should definitely do cord cuttings after breakups. You should cut everything because you've more than likely had an emotional, mental, and physical connection with that person. So you would need to do a cord cutting to cut all of those cords. Okay. And you can visualize separate cords, or you can just visualize like with my husband, I have a mental, emotional, physical connection with him. I believe we have a spiritual connection as well. So like, to me, that just makes the cord even thicker. Okay. If your boundaries are not being respected, then I feel like a cord cutting is due, because you're conveying boundaries, you're trying to set boundaries, and the other person is not respecting that, or they're taking advantage of that. Or if the other person exhibits toxic behavior. Okay, so physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, gaslighting, manipulation, anything like that. If the person is exhibiting toxic behavior, it is in your best interest to do a cord cutting between the two of you. Okay, so here is where my opinion differs from a lot of witches out there. Okay. A lot of witches out there, and I have read articles on cord cuttings being considered under banishing or baneful magic, because I don't understand the baneful part. I mean, I guess I could understand the baneful part because technically you're doing something that would affect another person negatively, especially if that person is a psychic vampire or an energy vampire. But I don't see it as that at all in any way, shape, or form. I 100% see cord cuttings as a form of setting boundaries and a form of protection, energetic protection for yourself. And, so I don't see cord cuttings as banishings, and I don't see cord cuttings as baneful magic at all. Okay. Because you're protecting yourself and you have yourself as a priority, which is what you should have anyway. So, a lot of witches, especially from what I've seen on social media, especially if you see videos where people are doing cord cuttings, especially when I see videos where people are doing cord cuttings for other people, I will just make this small soapbox statement here. I believe that you should always perform your own spells. I don't think that you should pay anyone to do a cord cutting for you because they're not emotionally invested in your energy or what that person has done to you and that emotion that comes with that. So I feel like you should always do your own spell instead of paying someone else to do a spell. I think personally, this is my personal opinion on this, the only exception to that are group workings. I think group workings are pretty cool. So like if someone is doing a group energetic, trying to raise money for abundance, or a group thing on psychic awareness, and like everyone kind of pitches in some money or everyone pitches in some stuff, and then it's like one big spell is being cast for a bunch of different people, but it all has the same energy. I kind of think those are cool, okay? But if you're trying to get to something as specific as cord cuttings, I definitely have always said that I think you should do your own spells. I think everyone should do their own spells because they're going to be personally connected to it. Whereas if you pay someone to do a spell for you, they have no connection except for the money that you're paying them. So there's no energetic connection there. Anyway, sorry, off soapbox now. Okay, so people on social media that do cord cuttings, a lot of them believe that cord cutting should only be done in extreme cases. Like when you are finally done with a person, you don't want to ever have contact with this person again. You want to remove this person from your life. Then that's when you do a cord cutting. And I agree that when you want someone gone from your life energetically, you should 100% do a cord cutting. But I believe that you can do cord cuttings with people who you have to maintain some sort of functional relationship with, but you need to reestablish the energetic boundaries between you and that person. For example, and I have two really good examples for you if you're like, oh my God, should I do a cord cutting with this person? Should I not? Should I, the first really good relationship is if you have an ex that you have kids with. So you're no longer romantically involved. You're no longer physically involved. You're no longer emotionally or mentally involved with that person, but you have children together. So you need to make sure that things like custody agreements are amicable, or, co-parenting is amicable. And you definitely want that to be as positive as possible for your child or your children. That is when I fully believe you can do a cord cutting to sever the romantic ties, to sever that big, thick cord that you all once had when you were a couple. And then you can do the cord cutting and you can replace it. You understand that you're going to have a cord with this person, probably for the rest of your life because you have children together. But now you're going to reestablish this energetic cord with boundaries placed around it. Okay? So that's the first example. The second example is, let's say you have a job that you love. You love your job. You like your coworkers. You love your job. You love what you do, but your boss is a dick. Okay? You can do a cord cutting with your boss, and let's say the boss has toxic behaviors towards you or is always asking shit of you that is not within your job description, or is always asking you to come in on the weekends when that's not in your job description either, or whatever it is, okay? You can cut that energetic cord with your boss, the existing one. And then knowing that, like, this is your boss, you want to keep your job, you love your job, you like your coworkers, you like everything. It's just your boss is being a dick. So you cut that existing cord with the understanding that when it comes back, you're going to put boundaries around it. And if people are like, well, how do you put boundaries around a cord? You talk. That's exactly what I do. I am a huge proponent of talking. I will talk myself through a spell, every single aspect. When I am doing a cord cutting, I'm talking through the entire way. That's just me. Okay. I'm a very loquacious person, which my husband told me the other day. Did you make that word up? And I'm like, I did not. It is just it's a high word. It means talkative. That's just who I am. So I want to clearly explain what I'm doing every step of a spell. Okay. So that there's no miscommunication between me and the universe. All right. So as I'm reestablishing that cord, or after I do the cord cleansing, I understand this cord has to, like, an energetic cord between me and this person has to exist. But from this point forward, these are the boundaries I am setting around this cord. Okay. So this is why I believe that you can do cord cuttings with people that you have to maintain some sort of relationship with. Okay. Because I believe that you can state the energetic cord that will form here forward will have these boundaries around it. Okay. All right. So now we're going to move on to actual cord cuttings, how to do one, my tips for doing them, but hopefully I've at least explained how to do a cord, or like why you want to do a cord cutting and when to do a cord cutting. Yeah, I mean, time-wise, if you're asking like when to do a cord cutting, the waning moon is perfect for that, the waning moon, the dark moon. But if some shit hits the fan and you can't sit around and wait for the proper moon phase, then fucking do your cord cutting whenever you have the energy and the motivation to do so, okay? All right. So believe it or not, and another thing that I have seen a lot of these social media witches skip over, I don't know if they skip over it, or if they're gatekeeping it, or if they don't know. But believe it or not, the most important step of a cord cutting is not the cutting of the cord. It is not. And that is another belief of mine. I have watched people do cord cuttings over and over and over again, and the cord comes back every single time. And that is because I believe that the most important step of a cord cutting is actually the last step. The most important one. So let's get into it. So basically, there are two different types of cord cuttings that you can do. The first is a visualization, and that is where you are just 100% going to visualize this cord from between you and this other person, connecting you to, you are going to visualize cutting it. Okay. And I will get into the steps here in a second. The other one is actually performing a cord cutting spell. I believe that if you combine the two together, that is the most effective cord cutting ritual that you can do. Okay. Is you combine visualization with a candle spell for cord cutting. All right. All right. So now we are jumping into, I'm going to just go over the Book of Shadow pages that are available on the website. Again, if you're listening to this on the 2nd, they're free. Just go to 31 Days of Samhain. Okay. So for the visualization one, basically what you're going to do is, cast your circle, do whatever, get into like a meditative state, however you visualize, however you meditate. Okay. You want to close your eyes and visualize a cord coming from you. And I tend to do it right in my core. So somewhere around my heart, like above my stomach. So like right there at like the center of your torso. I visualize this cord coming from me and connecting to the other person. Okay. And this is where it's very helpful. Like how long was your relationship? Are you visualizing a big, thick cord, or was it not very thick? But you can also just leave that open to interpretation through the meditation process. Okay. So look at the cord. More than likely, like I like to visualize it, and I like to visualize, like, generally speaking, if it's a toxic situation, the cord looks nasty. The cord is like draining me. And maybe if the other person was like a psychic vampire that was like sucking my energy dry, then the cord on my end looks decrepit and gross. But then as it goes away from me, the other person has this full of life cord. You can picture it with energy flowing back and forth. Like picture it however you want to visualize it, okay? Whatever color you want to visualize it, however thick you feel like it is, okay? So visualize that, and then visualize a tool to cut the cord. Whether it's a knife, a saw, scissors, you want to get lavish and do an axe, like some ninja stars, like whatever you want to do, okay? But that's when you are going to visualize this tool from you cutting this cord between the two of you, okay? So that is step 3, and then you want to, once you have your tool, cut the cord and release the connection. Step 4 is to sit in that space for a while, make note of any messages or impressions that you receive. It's sometimes helpful to tie a color or name to the visualization. That's what I'm saying. Like put as much detail to that cord and everything as possible, okay? This is step 5. This is the most important step to a cord cutting ritual, period. Whether you are doing the visualization or whether you are doing the candle spell, okay? Imagine a white light filling up and healing the space where the cord was attached to your body, okay? This is important to prevent the cord from reattaching. Yes, this is the part. If you visualize this cord and you've just cut it, what's going to be left? There's going to be a hole left. You have to fill that hole, or else that cord is just going to snap back into place as soon as you're done with your ritual. Especially if the person on the other end is extremely toxic, possibly narcissistic, and they will sense, even if they're magical, they'll sense something and they'll be like, oh, no, and they'll shoot it back real quick, okay? So you have to fill that hole. You have to fill what was there, okay? So that, to me, this is the most important part of a cord cutting. If you do not fill this, and you can visualize it with white light, you can do blue light for healing, you can do green light for love, you can do pink light for love, golden light for protection, whatever you want to do. But if you do not fill that hole back up, then the chances of that energetic cord reforming in the exact same way that it was, is pretty high, okay? So now that's it. That's it for the visualization one. You want to fill it up, heal yourself, heal that spot, and then go on about however you would do a ritual or a spell or close the circle or whatever, okay? I'm going to show you also, if you are watching on YouTube, this is the actual page, comes with pictures on how to do a cord cutting candle spell. Basically for this one, you're going to get 2 candles, same type. You can use white, you can use black, you can use big candles, you can use small candles, but you're going to have to watch it the whole time. So I probably wouldn't pick 2 pillars. That's going to be a very long cord cutting. Mini candles work really well for this, okay? But you definitely want to make sure that the 2 candles are in a candle holder secure, standing straight up and not wobbling, not anything. Because what you're going to do is you're going to put 2 candles, you set them about, it's about 6 inches apart if you're using mini candles. Set them about 6 inches apart, and make sure that underneath both of the candle holders, you have a metal tray or some kind of heat-proof container, dish, something. But you need to keep an eye on this, okay? Because it can get out of hand really quickly. And cord cuttings, you also want to watch how everything burns to see how your cord cutting went, okay? So cleanse your space, all of that. You can take it one step further. You can inscribe their name into one candle, your name into another, if you want to. But place them about 6 inches apart, okay? And then you want to take some natural twine, like the natural brown twine, and tie it around the 2 candles, okay, and tie a knot in it. So basically you're simulating, the cord that ties the 2 of you together, okay? And I understand if this is a podcast, it is a little bit difficult to visualize, but I already know, even though I have not designed the artwork or anything for this episode yet, look at the artwork on for the podcast episode artwork, and you'll be able to see the 2 candles with the cord like around them, because that's the artwork I'm going to use for this, okay? Or if you have the Book of Shadow pages, it's on there, okay? So that's when, I mean, you could put salt around the candles too. That's a really great thing that helps purify things as it's burning. But then basically, and definitely get away from curtains or anything that can catch fire. Okay. So set your intention and focus on severing the cord between you and the person. And then you want to light both candles at the same time, okay? And this is why you want to make sure that they're about 6 inches apart so that one candle burn doesn't affect the other. And this is if you're using mini chime candles, okay? You want to make sure that the twine is kind of tight too, but not causing the candles to shift or move in the candle holder, okay? Do not leave burning candles unattended. Of course, always have some kind of baking soda, fire extinguisher, metal pot with water, something close by just in case. But basically, when you light both candles, you're going to just sit there and watch them burn. Because what's going to happen is as the flame gets to where the twine is, it's going to light the cord on fire. And that is when you can visualize, if you want to, the cord, the energetic cord between you and the other person being severed. And that is where you will combine visualization with a candle spell. Okay, so as you are watching this cord burn away and that connection between the 2 of you burn away, you're visualizing that energetic cord also being severed between the 2 of you. Okay, pay attention to how the candles, flames, and twine burns. A strong, fast burn means the spell is working, while a slow burn with weak flames means that there could be a blockage. Okay, journal. And then this is where at the end, once the candles are done and everything, I would, or as soon as that cord, the twine in between you and the other person is severed, that's when I would go ahead and visualize that white light filling the hole that was left in you. Okay, because you do not want to skip that. Whether you are doing a candle spell or a visualization or a combination of the 2, do not skip that visualizing that hole being filled and healed, okay? So this is also the point where if you have to maintain a relationship with this person, this is where you can set your boundaries. Like, you understand that an energetic cord will reform, but from this point forward, the energetic cord will have these boundaries placed around it, okay? Now, if you are doing if you're doing a cord cutting and you don't want anything to do with this person ever again, you want to banish them from your life, okay? Then you have to take steps in the physical realm that match the spell that you just cast in the astral realm, okay, or the magical realm, all right? So you need to unfriend them, block them on social media, block their phone number, don't check up on them, don't ask about them to people that you are friends with or, common acquaintances. You need to make sure that you have burn their shit, I look, I have a lot of fire in my chart. I love burning people's shit. And I know I've talked about it on a past episode. I love burning exes' shit. It's very therapeutic. Get rid of shit. Okay. Get rid of pictures. You can put them in a box. You can put them away. You could bury them in the backyard. You could set them on fire. But if you no longer want to have an energetic connection with this person, then you have to take the steps in the physical realm to also remove them and stick to them. Okay. Especially if the relationship was extremely toxic or abusive mentally, emotionally, or physically, then you definitely want to protect yourself energetically, but you want to protect yourself physically as well. Okay. Is that what I have? Is that it? Hell yeah. That's what I got for y'all today. Yeah. And like I said, if you're listening to this on October 2nd, head to inkgoddesscreations.com right now. Click on 31 Days of Samhain, and you will see the flash sale for the cord cutting pages, making them free. If you are not listening to this on October 2nd, you can still head there and type in cord cutting in the search. You'll see the PDF. It's $2. And it instantly downloads once you complete checkout. And you don't even have to, I don't think for digital products, I don't think you even have to fill out like your address or anything, like shipping address, maybe billing. I don't know. Okay. You see how much I know about my business to be a CEO of it, right? In the same vein of cord cuttings or, healing, that's the next thing you have to do is move forward with your healing after a cord cutting. But we're working on healing your witch wound in the Ink Spirit Coven for the month of October. I'm very excited about this. Our lesson is coming up on the 6th, and it's going to be all about the witch wound and how it can secretly sabotage your self-esteem, your interaction, or your relationships with others, your magic. It is a sneaky little sucker, that witch wound. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be healing our witch wound, or I'm going to be teaching people how to heal their witch wound with a live lesson, which is coming up this Sunday, October 6th. And then towards the end of the month, I think it's on the 20th, I'm leading everyone in a guided meditation to help with the witch wound. So if this sounds like something that you would love to do, then you can head to inkedspirit.com to learn more and to join us. And if you're joining after the 6th or whenever, you have access to the lesson archives and the replay and all of that for the last 4 years worth of content. So you can just catch up in your own time. I want to thank you all so much for listening, for giving me a platform to share my knowledge and be my quirky self. And it's October, finally. So enjoy it. Enjoy it. And yes, if you are listening on October 2nd, and you feel a little nuts, it's the solar eclipse. I will see you all again here soon. Bye.